Wiggly, I acoustic, yo. Hey, step inside, I give thanks and the highest praise. Ground myself to Mama Earth, connect out the space.
Well, hello, it is episode number 46 of the Mr. Wiggly Sunday live stream. Thumbs up in the chat if you can hear me, because once again I have been rewiring the entire studio, and if you could see anything outside of this frame, you would see what an entire mess it is. So I am presuming I'm coming through, but there will be a delay, so I'll wait for a thumbs up first. It's a really nice evening. Oh, thank you, Martin Taylor, very kind of you. Really nice evening in the UK today. We've had a rainy old day after some beautiful weather. But yeah, it's not exactly sunny, but it's one of those nice kind of evenings for a bank holiday over here in the UK. I hope everyone is having, where you have a bank holiday, is having a good one. It's slightly strange. Bank holiday weekends kind of feel weird. I'm not sure if it's a Saturday or a Sunday or whatever. Slightly different format today. Luna May is away, but she may be back a bit later to say hello. She's gone out and had the mother of all double birthday parties. It's not hers, but two of her friends have had birthday parties, one on Saturday and one on Sunday, and the one on Saturday was a sleepover. So she basically disappeared on Saturday morning and we haven't seen her since, and she's had two birthdays since then, so I'd imagine she'll be quite excited or asleep, one or the other, when she comes back. But she's not here to do the quiz straight away. So standing in good sense is the lovely Mrs. Wiggly is here.
Hi, everyone.
Can you speak up a little bit?
Hello.
Oh my gosh, yes, somewhere in the middle would be cool. So we're going to be doing the quiz earlier on, because Mrs. Wiggly is going to go out and pick up Lula May from the birthday party, I think around about 8ish, something like that. So we're going to do the quiz kind of first. Hello to absolutely everybody in the chat. It's lovely to see so many people in the chat. Obviously, Jamie's show didn't happen this evening. He's taken a bank holiday weekend off, and also I imagine quite a few people are probably away for bank holiday or not sitting in front of YouTube. So I completely understand that. If you're watching on catch up, thank you so much for joining in, and hopefully I'll try and remember to speak and describe what's on the screen, just in case you're listening to the podcast and that kind of stuff without visuals. Homegrown was second in. Hello to you. Native VS was first. Thank you, Homegrown, for your donation last week as well. That was amazing. First time for you, so thank you. It's very, very much appreciated. Steve Powell, hello to you. Keith in Watford, Sasquatch, Sensian, who else is there? John Simpson, hello to you. And whizzing right the way down, Carl Bedford, Martin Taylor. Thank you to all of you who are already... Ow! Well, that was the sound of the Mr. Wiggly horn. And the Mr. Wiggly horn today does not have the incinerator stuck on top of it. Let me just show you before I say thank you. It is in all its glory, looking exactly like that, because the battery was running low and it was getting a bit quieter. So rather than have the incinerator sticking over the top to keep the level of the noise down, we took it out, and that was super, super loud.
Oh, now you've set them off.
Sorry. Wow. Sorry to our guest as well, who probably wasn't aware of the volume of that thing. Thank you so much to Andrew Brooks. My word. Oh! Oh, man. Thank you so much. To Andrew Brooks, to get the ball rolling. You have indeed, sir. Thank you so much for the £5 donation. To John Simpson as well, an evening starter. Great show. Thank you so much to you, John. And of course, the Nibbleton? Why did I say Nibbleton? Inimitable Kent Spong.
Kent Spong, can you tell me what's wrong?
Yes, I can for sure, if it helps you out. Let's just do the ultimate Kent Spong vocal, because he's so amazing.
Kent Spong, Kent Spong, Kent Spong, Kent Spong, Kent Spong, Kent Spong, Kent Spong.
There he is. Thank you so much, Kent. I'm hoping I might be able to come and see you this week. £50, just such a brilliant donation. So we're already £60 into the show. All the donations don't go to me, in case you're wondering. If you're new, they go to Lula May's charity that she loves, called Great Ormond Street Hospital, and they care for sick children in the UK. It's an amazing charity. So before we go on and introduce our guest and do the quiz, I'll just play a big thank you video, if you don't mind, to all the people that have donated. If you give via Super Chat, we give it straight to Great Ormond Street. I make up the difference because YouTube do take a little bit of money out of the money, but it all goes into Great Ormond Street, and they've done really, really well. We raised £176 last week, I think. Let me just check, because I do try and keep the numbers perfect. £137 last weekend, which means that we have raised a grand total of £3,576 for Great Ormond Street. At the expense of our hearing. Thank you so much. Who was that? David Surchek. Thank you very, very much indeed for the $9.99. It's so kind of you. So literally we're now kind of up to about £80 already for Great Ormond Street.
It might be his birthday or something. Happy birthday, David. I'm not sure if it's him. Just check.
Yeah. Happy birthday to David.
Happy birthday.
Have I got a happy birthday? I thought I maybe had a happy birthday to Inky or something. I don't know.
You could always sing it, Mr. Wiggly.
I could. Okay. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, David Surchek. Happy birthday to you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. That is absolutely wonderful. So it's already gone up. So I was going to say we've raised 3,576. We've now raised probably 3,650. And it's just amazing because it goes to a brilliant cause. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Luna May will be totally overwhelmed. And have a quick look at this thank you for donations video. It's listing everybody that has donated with the possible exception of Homegrown, because I can't remember if I've uploaded the absolute latest. So thank you, Homegrown, for last week. If you're not on here, and I'll make sure you're doubled on there for next week.
Hey, step inside, I give thanks and the highest praise. Ground myself to my earth, connect out the space. Within the hallways of the heart, the mind and the state of being that I am as I vibrate. Adorate, oscillate like quartz crystal, mama may. Earth, brother, I know run solid, listen. I'ma say our heart is the brightest of sun, so we'll let it shine away, overlap and envelop each other in love and light. Yeah, simultaneously synchronized this energy, symbiotic and sacred geometry. Contemplate the symmetry of this imagery as we integrate the knowledge, this wisdom, see what the symbols mean and bodies for the temple be. With a life force, energy resides in the chemistry, bioelectric being the top and indefinitely. Receive and perceive the physical machinery, conceived by the source, recognize that it blessed be. Rolling and I can't breathe, conscious living never hurt me. One love, energy and sexy. Wind your line to the champion sound. Baseman move to the energy. Sunlight burning upon me. One love, set your heart free. Wind your line to the champion sound. Winding time to the champion sound.
Thank you so much. And to Homegrown, thank you. You will be on there next week. I can't believe I made the new video and then I forgot to press. I can't believe I failed to press the upload button. Olmore Frazzle, best named man in the world. Thank you so much for the €20. And Homegrown, thank you again. You don't have to. Thank you so much. When I think of the money I used to spend on music tech magazines each month over the years, this is a bargain. Oh my word! My gosh, Carl Bedford. Oh, that was so loud. I might have to get up and put the thing back over the top. Thank you so much. Happy bank holiday back in the UK. Happy birthday, Luna May. It's actually David Surchek's birthday, and Luna May's gone to a birthday party. So, but thank you. I mean, it's just ultimately brilliant what you're doing. So thank you very much. We've raised a fortune already without Luna May even being in the room. So thank you for that. It's just utterly brilliant. Can I introduce our amazing guest? A guy that you may not know of. I don't know. I know him through Facebook and through YouTube. He's been around since bands in kind of 77 maybe was the first one, I think. Certainly in the early 80s he was pioneering in the US in the synth world. he's just one of those guys that's done everything, loads and loads of different stuff. So he's done that. He's moved into other styles of music. He's done video making, I think, for probably the majority. If you asked him what did you do, probably video would be the thing. I don't know. We'll ask him. But Jeff Hudson, welcome to the stream, and it's absolutely lovely to see you. Thank you so much for coming on.
Microphone check, 1, 2, 3.
It sounds like it's coming up the wrong microphone. If you tap it, I think you're...
1, 2.
Tap it.
1, 2.
Yeah, no, I think it's the other microphone.
Hey, how's that?
It's pretty quiet. It's okay, but I mean, I've got to... That's weird. It's almost like the microphone behind you or a different microphone is picking up your voice all of a sudden.
Shut that one off. Let me just see if I picked the wrong one. Hello.
Sounds like we're picking you up in the room.
1, 2.
Tom,
Yes.
can you turn the background music down a little bit?
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah. It worked fine a minute ago. Let me look
Chat,
at
can you hear him okay? I'm sure that he's
here
here.
it is.
You got it?
Oh.
Yeah.
1, 2.
That's the bunny. Is that okay, Mrs. Wiggly?
Tech support.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can go louder.
No. I think that's...
I can go
that's almost-
softer.
yeah, a little bit softer.
Sure. Let's get it right. I like it right.
That sounds about right to me.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Hey, welcome,
right.
welcome. Well, we tested a couple of times, but anyway.
Put the other mic.
Oh my God! Thank you so much. I can't even click the comments so much. Thorsten.
Can you hear this?
Yes, it's a little quiet,
Okay,
but we can hear it. But if my music's on in the background at the moment. Thorsten Tobias Hines, £20. Hello, Wiggly's guest and Wiggly disciples. Have a great May Day weekend. Big thanks to you all. Thank you, Thorsten. And as always, all of our love from the chat and the Wiggly crew, if you like, is with you. I'm so pleased that everyone's back to being at full health. And it looks like you're eating some amazing food, actually, as well, from the stuff that I've seen on Facebook. So thank you very, very much for that donation. So I think, Jeff, 1977? Would that be
I went
kind
to
of?
London in 1977 to document her in Germany. Went to the Rock Garden or one of those little clubs in the Marquee. So some punk bands, came home, bought a guitar.
Nice.
Everyone else.
Just kicked
And
off.
it was beautiful. So we signed The Beggar's Banquet, did a single with them called I Got a Crush on You, 79. 2 girls in the band, my wife Jane and pseudo Carol. And then we moved to New York in 79. We opened for The Clash in 70. First American performance in Boston, Harvard Square Theater.
You opened for The Clash in 1979 in Boston.
First American performance, yeah.
Wow. Okay, well, hold that thought just for a moment. What we'll do is we'll whiz off and do some quiz questions before Mrs. Wiggly disappears off to pick up the lovely Lula May. My brain isn't working today. But yeah, mic up a little bit whilst we're doing this. I think in general is the idea. Again, we'll get it right though. So if you wouldn't mind pushing up your volume a bit, Jeff, again.
Oh, really?
I think you pushed it up and then you
Hello,
step
1,
back
2,
from the
1,
mic.
2.
Yeah.
Hello,
that
1,
sounds
2.
good.
You have to be within 2 inches, basically.
There you go. Okay, so we don't have a Lula May. What do have is Lula May's friend and compadre. So I think need some microphones. Right, hang on a second. I don't know if I can do this.
I have nothing to do with this, by the way.
It seemed like a good idea, but I don't know if I can do ventriloquism. No, that's not going to work, is it? Anyway, okay, so pretend this is Lula May. We have time for a quiz. My arm, not that my arm is involved in this situation, but it might get a little bit tired after a while. Hang on a second. All right, are you ready? Have you seen the quiz before, Jeff?
A little bit.
Okie doke. Right, there are right answers, but generally they're not Googleable. Everyone in the chat.
I have no idea.
Make sure people in the chat you're following by, I always forget, all chat, best chat, I don't know. Not the chat that isn't listing all the chat, if you see what I mean. Inky will tell me in a second. I might have to put this monkey down. He's sitting on my arm. Not that my arm is anything to do with it. But let's go for this quiz and see if we can do. I'm just going to drop him down for a second. We'll drop him out. I'll put him back in a minute. Okay. Mrs. Wiggly, you're going to have to be the monkey.
Great, thanks.
You're going to have to be louder as well, I'm afraid. Hold on. That's turned up, Mrs. Wiggly. Try that.
I'm not speaking. I wasn't speaking to the mic.
That's all right. I've turned you up.
Okay.
Okay, stand by, everybody. It's open to the chat. It would be great if you didn't Google, but in general, I don't think. I can't believe he said that. Is that the monkey thing? Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I didn't.
Honestly, he gets away with a lot.
Sorry, just to let you know. Okay, it's just my arm can't stand it. Right, here we go. Unprepared again. All right, so you're not going to do the questions, Mrs. Wiggly. So, okay, hang on a second.
It's your show.
Hang on a second. This is okay. Quiz music. How many monkeys are in this picture? Just got to find the picture. 1 second. I'll find it in a minute. Here we go. How many monkeys are in this picture?
One.
No. Okay,
The
Mrs.
same
Wiggly,
monkey.
keep an eye. It's
They're the same monkey.
Actually, very good. Very, very good.
Paul Altola is close.
Well, Tola is close. We're getting guesses
Oh, we're
ranging
getting
from
Lady
29,
Aptitude is
44,
close.
55, 44 from Thorsten. Tollington
Oh,
said...
Will Joseph got it.
Did he?
Yeah.
Will Joseph. Where is he?
Is that
Sasquatch got it, but he must
Where?
have spotted Will Joseph's. It's the answer is 47.
there? No. Yeah. Will
But-
Joseph got it.
I can't find him. Wagyu 37. Oh, Will
Yeah, he
Joseph.
did
Well
it.
done. Well done, sir. Okay. Wow, it's not the same without Luna May, is it? Okay, let's try another question. It really isn't. This is impossible without Luna May sitting here doing this. Okay. Why did the monkey fall out of the tree? Why did the monkey fall out of the tree?
Gravity.
Oh, yeah, maybe. I remember maybe. Not quite, though. Not to get a banana. I'm going to have to... Monkey, you're going to have to go. Okay, so monkey's off. Can't say that was one of the most successful things I've ever done, but it was worth a try. The answer's pretty bad, actually. This is gonna seriously backfire. Do you want to say it, Mrs. Wiggly?
No. What? No.
No. The answer.
No.
The answer's because according to the card, the answer's because it was dead. I'm really sorry. Mrs. Wiggly's trying not to laugh. I can see there's a... All right, let's get serious.
Oh, is it time to go? I want to go and pick up the child.
Wah, wah. Inky says, bring back the monkey. All right, okay, let's do this properly. So, if there is such a thing as a proper quiz, one of the questions, can you do the third question, please, Mrs. Wiggly? Would that be okay?
Sorry, which third question are you talking about?
Third one down from the top in the list of Luna May's questions. Ready?
Right, so whose birthday was it this weekend?
Whose birthday was it this weekend? Now, it wasn't Lula May's, but she went on 2 birthdays. It was Amelia's from Sasquatch? No, not good guess, though. Ella, Sasquatch gets it. And there was somebody else.
And I don't think no one
will get this. Yeah, get somebody to bring back Lula May. I know. She'll be here soon.
She will be dead, but she'll be here.
Lula May won't be dead. She'll just be very
She'll
tired.
be very tired then.
Not in the monkey. Okay. I doubt anyone's going to get this. It's a sort of Indian-ish name, would you say?
Yeah.
We do have the ooze tube.
Yeah, maybe.
Would you like some ooze tube?
No, maybe the monkey might need.
Any thoughts on a name there, Jeff?
On the name for what? The monkey?
On a name for Lula May's best friend who's having a birthday, which is an Indian-tinged name, I would say, more common amongst Indian.
Tandoori.
No, Tantra, Priya, Sita, Esme, Afza. Should we? I think you're going to have to give away the answer.
Yeah, no one's going to get this. Her name is.
Say again.
No, it's Sanvi.
Sanvi. Oh my word. Okie doke. All right. So there's a couple of questions, and I think we should save them for when Lula May gets back, because this clearly doesn't work without Lula May being in the room, does she? So does it?
No, I did say.
Did you?
Yes.
I didn't remember you saying that.
I said, but no.
Okay. What have we got? She did a sport on Saturday. Oh, name the monkey. Yeah, that's a much better idea. Best name of the monkey in the chat, chosen by Jeff, goes into the draw, along with everyone who gives money to win this book, Synth Gems, or this book, Turn, Push, Move, which we'll be giving away on the 50th episode in 4 episodes' time, so in a month's time. Everyone who donates to the stream, and also there'll be some raffle tickets available in a couple of weeks running up. So, Jeff, can you see the comments? You might have to click the comments option on your screen on the right. You see private chat, yeah?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, keep an eye on those.
Okay.
Let me put Monkey back on his own camera a second. Okay, what is best comment chosen by Jeff? Doesn't win the monkey, but goes into the draw. Okay, so here we go.
Mac, Martha, am I seeing Goober, Jim, Gaz?
Yeah, that's the one. So let them come through for a while.
I call him Evolution.
Evolution monkey. That's quite clever. Can't be yours. It's got to be from the chat, though.
Oh.
Because the person who gets it in the chat is going to go into this draw.
Right. Richard Hilton. Let me see. Monkey Python sounds pretty good. I like that. Monkey Python.
Monkey Python. Who said that?
Paul Artola.
Paul Artola. All right, man. Thank you very much. So can you jot down Paul Artola's name? Paul Artola. Well done, sir. You're in the draw. Okay, let's talk about music for a bit. Do you want to go and pick up
I will.
Lula May? So bye from the monkey.
Bye to everyone.
Bye from Mrs. Wiggly.
Hopefully Lula May will be back in time.
Thank you very much.
Nice meeting you.
Yeah, you too. Bye, Jeff.
Okay, so let's drop the monkey stream. Drop the Mrs. Wiggly stream. Well done, Paul. And let's talk about opening for The Clash back in 81 you said? 79.
February.
What's that like?
Well, basically, it was very intense. I got to watch them from the side stage. No sound check. They'd just flown in. I actually hung with Topper and Paul in the dressing room because nobody wanted to talk to them, just wanted to talk to Joe and Mick. But they were very nice people. They're both artists. We were visual artists at that point. We got into music through video, through doing soundtracks for video. And we started doing synthesizers and music. So opening for The Clash was a big thrill. Because of it, I moved to New York because Robert Christgau liked us, gave us a good review. we started getting booked into Max's and the Mud Club and stuff. So, hurrahs. So we moved to New York
Wow.
to Soho in '79, and I was there from '79 to '82. So I hung out with, Jean-Michel and George Condo and the Lounge Lizards and the Contortions and Alan Vega and all that. So
And
I was
in that
lucky.
kind of era, was that early in their career? I can't get a fix on. I mean,
Well,
are
it
they
was
young,
early in
upcoming?
everyone's career. Whose career?
Well, theirs.
Who's
But
there?
clearly, it's quite early. The
Yeah.
guys you just talked about, the people you were hanging with, was that
Right.
quite a happening upcoming scene?
Yeah, I mean, like Jean-Michel was just a kid. Nobody knew he was going to become a famous guy. I just smoked weed with him. He was a weed buddy, along with a lot of other people. You could smoke weed in the clubs in New York. It was no problem. I worked at the Mud Club, put the video system in up on the second floor, VJ'd there for a couple weekends.
Wow.
They leave, well, I won't go into what they would leave you on the decks before the night. You stayed till 4 in the morning, that's all I can tell you. You had to stay awake.
Wow.
But it was a lot of fun, and it was, very exciting times. I got to, I mean, basically what happened to me was I went from art school and video art to music, and then back to music video, and now I'm back to music. So, always been just a big passion to be part of it. I started playing guitar when I was a kid, but I hurt my fingers too much. So I said, no, that's no good. It just hurts when you start to learn to play the guitar. And I never went back to it. And then in '77, went back to it and started learning all about it. I've always dug the politics of music. I mean, one thing I like about it is the what it can do for, generations and future. My real start is in the '60s with like Alton Kelly, San Francisco, Boston. Mongo Jerry crashed at my apartment. Mongo Jerry, I mean, that's 1967, 68.
Yeah.
Boston Tea Party. All that stuff I was involved in as far as being a fan. My friend ran the backstage door to the Boston Tea Party, so I got in free to all the shows.
Oh, wow.
And so I got to see, Led Zeppelin, The Who, everything, everybody. I think I'm out of focus. Am I out of focus a little bit?
Fractionally.
Yeah, fractionally. It's probably
Yeah,
a
it's-
resolution thing. I could go to a higher res.
Try
but-
it. Yeah. I mean, it's
I
up to
will.
you. Yeah. I think it might be focusing on the peak of your cap, actually, rather than the...
Right. Let me see, camera.
if you
I'm
can
not going to
override
actually.
it.
Oh,
Doesn't
actually, no, I'm going to leave it alone.
It's okay.
So that got me back in. Then I moved out of New York. Got very expensive, very fast. Harder drugs were coming in. Some people became very famous, which was scary because you had friends just going boom, and that's what happens in rock and roll and fine art. Is some people, like Damien Hirst. I mean, he might have been a buddy
Yeah.
of his, and then the next day he's a billionaire. So that would happen to Jean-Michel and George Condo, a number of people I knew. And it was good and bad. In some ways, people can turn on themselves. It's very competitive in some ways. But some great work was made. Then I came back to Boston. I taught video at the Boston Museum School of Fine Arts for 32 years, basically built the department from analog to digital. Started making music videos, had a good agent, Ted Curl and Associates, who did Pat Metheny and Al Di Meola and all the jazz guys. So he threw me out with them, went on tour and shot a lot of music videos. There's one on YouTube called Super Guitar Trio with Al Di Meola. And, and fantastic recordings, fantastic playing. But my point now is when I look back at that, I was telling you this before, is when we went to the power station to mix Al Di Meola, it was mixed to picks, and it was $750 an hour with an SSL. So we got 40, 30 hours of video mixing to picks of 1.5 inch, 1 inch machine, 2 inch machines, all running, and it sounded great, and it should sound great. And now you don't have to spend that money; you can do everything at home, and it sounds just as good. So that's the miracle that's happened. And the flip-flop of that is all the money you were making selling the records and all that stuff is now streaming.
Yes.
And, you're getting screwed. So it's really turned around, the money aspect of music.
It's coming from the other end. Richard, the wonderful Richard Hilton, is a keyboard player with Chic,
Yeah.
and a wonderful man.
No, I love
so do you know
Niles.
Tape, Dave Greenberg? Does that make sense?
Oh, maybe. I did hang out with Niles on the Glenn O'Brien TV party show. Niles and Bernard were there, and I did a gig there as the Manhattan Project. And Chris Stein was there, Niles Rogers, Bernard. They were jamming in with me a little bit on that show. It's somewhere in the archives for a TV party with Glenn O'Brien.
Okay, so Dave Greenberg works for Kurlander. I don't know.
Yep. Kurland, yep. Yeah, it was Kurland.
Kurland, okay.
Ted Kurland is the jazz agent. Also, one thing on Richard Hilton with the Chic connection, they did this TV party thing on 23rd Street or something. So we pulled up in our little Ford station wagon with our gear, schlepped it in. But there were 2 Porsches in front. There was Chic 1 and Chic 2.
Chic
I swear to God. 2 license plates. Bernard had one. Niles had one. It was beautiful.
Fantastic.
Some video screen just popped up on my thing.
It did, because...
there I am. Yeah, live
so
at
I've just
Hurrah.
found this from 1981.
Yeah, this is very minimal, but it's kind of suicide-ish. It's a cool track, though. It's very suicide, Alan Vega, but he's our hero. That's 40 years ago, 41 years ago.
Which is pretty leading edge, I think.
Oh, very. I was going to talk about what happened to rock. This is a synth duo. My wife and I, backing tapes, Mood Prodigy, CompuRhythm, no MIDI, clocking stuff maybe, hand played everything. They hated synthesizers. So in America, when you brought synthesizers out in the rock clubs, it was just a hate.
Wow.
And it took a while for them to really be accepted. And that's, Suicide. There aren't that many electronic bands from America just because of the hatred. And that's a little light show, the fluorescent lights. We made video art for the shows early on.
Take it in more slowly. It's a deadly ride. Watch the edge, boy.
Crazy because it's live.
Yeah, exactly. You can kind of
That's
not underestimate the newness of that when everyone's playing guitars and you know, it's
we had that was
pretty
all the
astonishing.
early stuff was like Mood Prodigy, Roland RS-09, all the Roland CompuRhythm. I mean, that was the drum machine, Bossa Nova, Rock 1, Rock 2. But they were great. And, it was a fun time to be involved in just the beginning of that. Go down to Manny's and see the $5,000 Jupiter 8, and put your hands on it, knowing you could never afford it.
Nothing changes, at least in that front. Or at least
true.
it did. Briefly, it did in the 90s, but back on there. Richard was just saying as well. He's the Porsche was sold at auction recently. He had a big auction of loads of his stuff.
Yeah,
and so
That's
that was
cool.
obviously one of those things that went out.
He was just starting to make it there, And Glenn O'Brien was a good friend of his, and TV Party is a very famous show. I wish there were more of them on YouTube. But he had John Michaud was on that show a lot.
Yeah. Actually, Rocknets, that's true. It's a very LCD sound system, except it's like 40 years old. It's just astonishing. You forget, how weird you must have been to do that stuff, to be honest.
I think because we're just into video and technology, and it was an easy transition for us to do, whereas actual musicians were like, I don't know if I want to touch all the buttons. So we were onto special effects and synthesizing pictures. So synthesizing sound was, easier for us, I think.
Again, so really, I think you and him could definitely get together and do a Do You Know so and so. Fantastic.
Jesus. Hey, material opened for me. That's nutty.
And there's a Jupiter 8K for 18K in the middle.
There you go. Yeah,
they're a lot more than
I had a
that.
Jupiter 6 for a while. I almost got there.
Yeah.
I had everything basically once, and I bought back everything on eBay once and sold it
Sold it
once.
again.
So, it's just incredible amount of gear in and out. But I like flipping it around. It's fun.
So let's just go back because I jumped the gun a little bit. So you're late 70s, in having been a fan, moving into being an artist. We jumped a little bit to 81.
Yeah.
Kind of around about that side, which is you adopting synths and that kind of stuff. I mean, if we talk about the history of kind of what got you to today, clearly what started happening in the 80s after stuff like this video came out, and what were you doing throughout there as you transitioned into being presumably for early stages of you as an artist there, I guess.
I think you're just doing it on instinct. Not a lot of thought goes into it. I think there's just a momentum that happens in different things, and I think the synthesizer movement had that. We go in the store and the new Oberheim or something would be there, and it would be very exciting. I'll give you a little side story.
Please.
We're in Boston for many years, too, because we taught at the museum school, and we walked into a music store, and there were two Wasp synthesizers there, the little yellow and black ones. They're plastic from the 70s, 80s. And they were dumped off from Devo, who had just toured through Boston. They left the synths there, sold them to Wurlitzers, and was like, all right, we'll buy them. So we bought two Wasps, we brought them to the gig the next week or so, and plugged them in, put them on a very small stage with very tight lights and a very low ceiling. And we left them on, and they stayed on for a number of hours, and as the evening was going, the synths started making their own noises. And we didn't know where they were coming from. They became, what is that? You know, they were just firing off because they were touch sensitive, and they were heat sensitive or something. The lights were just, modulating the keys. So we sold them the next day. Funny stuff. The old Wasp. Worst keyboard in the world, but nice sounding.
Yeah, exactly.
On its own.
Exactly. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Having grown up, it's funny actually growing up through the release of all those synths. I mean, I kind of grew up. The Jupiter 8 was out when I discovered synths, but it was kind of the time when the Juno 6 was about to come out and that kind of stuff. And there were some good synths and some bad synths at that time, but they're universally loved now as old analog examples.
I had a Juno 60, my main album, which I'll hold up. This has been re-released.
Oh, nice.
Flash. And basically it was 1983, it was recorded in 82, Juno 60, TR-808, Pro 1, Roland Echo, Shure microphone, one guitar, in the apartment on a TAC 4-track.
Oh, wow.
And that's been re-released in Europe and all over the world through Dark Entries Records and Daft Records. So, doing it yourself and owning your music is a good thing, too. Try not to give up your publishing. Don't give it up if you can help it. Try to keep it. You never know when it might be licensed later. It's unlikely, but we've had a couple little things licensed to films and stuff, and it's good to have full ownership.
So was that effectively, when you put that out, did you put that out independently back then?
We did.
Recorded?
We pressed a couple thousand copies. The first record was...
World Trade, yeah, that's clear.
That's 79, and that's Lust on Lust. And he did Teenage Jesus and the Jerks and a lot of the New York bands. But Charles Ball, he rest in peace. But he was a cool guy, and this was a vinyl. This is a CD release. And that is all CompuRhythm, very early synthesizers. But we do everything at home, press your own records, although Lust and Lust did his own thing. Beggars Banquet did their thing. But generally, we do our own thing. I mean, we don't make pop music especially, so I'm not really interested in the big hoo-ha anyways, So we're really into just pushing the envelope and having fun with the sound.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, exactly.
So the 80s consisted of what? So we've seen the video from 81.
Well, I opened for Duran Duran,
Brilliant.
Ultravox, Susie and the Banshees, The Contortions twice, Suicide twice. There are many others. I can't even think of them all.
Wow.
Gee, it's a blur. PIL at the Ritz
really?
Riot. The Ritz
Wow.
Riot. I opened for PIL as a duo.
Was this when they were trying to crack America, or
Well, this
like
was
kind of
Flowers
first
of
tours,
Romance tour, and it was the Ritz Riot. It's a famous tour. It's never been reported totally accurately what happened, but there was Johnny and Keith wanted to do a performance art, and it was supposed to be like on a Thursday or Friday night. It was going to be performance art, video art, and use the record and kind of perform. So they got to sound check, and there was a drum set there, and there was a Prophet 5, and there was other stuff, and big screen, and they're going to stay behind the screen. So anyways, long story short, I talked to Keith at sound check. We were video artists too. We had backing tracks. He said, you can open. We walked on stage with a Sinair and a Casio in front of 1,000 Sex Pistols fans.
Oh, man.
It lasted about 15 minutes. There were broken glass everywhere. They're Heineken bottles. It was the last night in New York they allowed bottles in a club.
And of course, none of them had come to see you, right?
No.
So,
And they never saw PIL. They never left
Man.
behind the screen. So as the night progressed and no music was coming out and Johnny was just fucking with their crowd, they started pulling out the gear, throwing bottles, and the whole gig became the Ritz riot. And it was unfortunate because it was a cool idea, and they did sound great at sound check, and it just got out of hand, you know. So that's the
Wow.
downside of music too. There's, you know, it can be violence.
sure. So that's Pill, but with them, with the Durans and that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
was that their first US tour then?
What happened again was I was in New York or Boston, so a lot of the groups coming in from England were always we're the first stop. Usually Boston, then New York. They kind of like hit Boston first. And Duran Duran was at the Paradise in Boston. And what they did was really interesting. They had a pretty good sound system in this club. All the big acts played there. There's about 800 people, 600 people. So we get to sound check, and it's like, man, there's a lot of trucks outside, you know? And they have big, big trucks. And they brought in their own mega sound system.
Oh, wow.
On top of the other sound system. So there's like no room on the stage. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, oh my God. So we sounded like, and they sounded, whoa. That was a day, you know, like,
Fantastic.
you know, it does make a difference, folks, when you have
Wow.
18-inch woofers.
Wow. Because I mean, from the UK perspective back then, and it's still true today, of course. But I mean, America's huge, and compared to the UK, and for an artist that's massive in the UK, because there's one national radio station, and
Right.
you know, certainly back then, one or two chains of stores that would carry your record. It's easier to get, you know, to become a large band, you know, to push. You don't have to be, you know,
Right.
pushing in various places, and touring is only a small part of that generally, you know.
Yeah.
But in the US, generally, certainly back then, you kind of had to just do massive tours, and by about tour number 3, you might be making an impression.
That's right.
And generally, you had to play guitars back then as
Yeah.
well, because most of those gigs would be guitar-based, kind of people would be used to seeing it. And that came as a real shock, I think, to some of the UK acts. But obviously, if you broke American, you started
Right.
as Duran did, and
Yeah, they did.
those guys back then.
But most
Then obviously-
didn't. You know, most were just
Yeah.
like even Psychedelic Furs, which are great on the
Yeah.
radio, but they're, you know, they're still touring and they're fantastic. I know the keyboard player Amanda Kramer, but you know, even back then, you know, even Gary Newman was you couldn't sell as many tickets, you know, in America. You know, 500, 600 tickets for a Gary Newman show, which was good for our audiences because we got to see, you know, great acts in smaller venues.
Yeah, yeah. There's a reverse one which was really strange. I grew up and was in bands with a guy called Gavin, who ended up being the singer for Bush.
Yeah.
It was obviously
he's a great guy.
massive in the US, and we just grew up in Manchester. So he was one of those guys who, you know, who suddenly explodes. But there were nothing in the UK. It was the most bizarre.
Yeah, you never know. I think that, you know, record company support, timing, MTV, all of that really made a difference.
Yeah.
And MTV made a big difference back then. Like I did, I'm not going to say, they had 120 Minutes, for instance, which was an alternative show, which they don't do anymore, which was really great because baby bands could bloom. And what's happening now is, you know, there's no music on television except YouTube's big and huge, and so there is a lot of that, but there's no network music anymore for the masses. And maybe it's a good thing. I mean, the music videos really become so played out. Everyone spends so much money on them. They become characters of themselves. You know, do you really take them seriously as they're walking through the rubble of the Third World War singing their song? You know, it's hard to. It's all blue
Used
screen.
up a lot of the budgets as well, didn't it?
Yeah.
So Grace, I hope you're feeling better. Grace has been is an amazing live sound engineer, particularly on the onstage sound, and she's been doing Young Voices over here, which Lula May's involved with, my daughter. And Young Voices is like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of children in a big choir that they've organised, and Grace is doing the live sound.
Wow.
Which is like, you know, 170
two microphones or one microphone?
Like 170 microphones and 30.
Or just one.
30 mixes. But she caught COVID right in the middle of it. So, and I think it's clear by Wednesday or Thursday with any luck, because I think Lula May's doing it on Friday. Anyway, Grace, I do hope you're feeling okay. US touring has the innate ability to swallow up UK bands whole and maybe spit them out again after a few years with the small possibility of some success. Yeah, you're right there. Absolutely right there. but the rewards financially and career wise are, if you take somebody like Depeche Mode,
Yeah, it's crazy.
just to turn a synth band and a light synth pop band into a stadium
Yeah.
act like that is incredible.
It's really a sex act when you break it down, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's sexy, sexy, sexy. And he's great, and I love them, and I love their grooves. There's nothing better. They're a great, great thing. The unfairness of capitalism, we could bring that up, and I can talk about that for a couple of hours. Between movies, theater, acting, music, and fine art, the $200 million painting, the $100 million painting. Society has warped itself into a very crazy place.
Yes, yes. Well, you see that with that. We're not going to talk about NFTs, but NFTs are exactly
NFTs.
that. As
Crazy.
they are what someone is prepared to pay for them at the time. So
Yeah.
you have to be a bit lucky about that.
So actually, I did bring some art because I did an album, which is called Beautiful.
Brilliant. I was going to ask about the art.
And the
so-
art, oh, here we go. That's the cover.
Wow.
Well, here we go. I can get it right
Wow.
there.
Nice.
That's gouache on paper. So basically, I was trained as a painter, did a lot of flying saucer stuff.
Nice. Very good. I've got Beautiful here, which I think was worth a play. I think.
Yeah, no, thanks.
So
Yeah, you can run that.
We'll
You can
run that
it-
because I don't think there's a video associated
No,
with it,
there's
is there?
just pictures
so
of
that's-
the world. I just don't have. It's so funny. I made music videos for my whole life, and I just can't stand making one now. It's like if you overcook.
I
Isn't
saw
that
it,
weird?
I thought, This is great, though. This is what I heard. I think that really kind of made me think this is really cool. We'll just have a listen to this.
Yeah,
one.
yeah. This is very kind of new wave '80s, but it's got a little bit of futuristic stuff
Okay.
in it. Thanks for playing it.
Just great.
It's a
Really
nice
love that.
song, you know. It's a lucky one, man. I'll tell you, it's beautiful progression, and I just got the brass hits in there right, you know, the little trumpet stuff
Yeah.
and saxes. I was a trumpet player for 2 years. It was horrible, but doing it with my fingers is so much easier. Samples,
Yeah, short,
you know.
short, bop, bip, bop. That's
Yeah, they're
really,
just so
really good
cool.
on
Yeah.
keyboards. You can get away with a lot.
Yeah.
Lots of lovely love in the chat as well for that, which
Yeah,
is
it
really, it's
really
just
was. I
something
really appreciate everyone. That's very nice.
lovely. There's a lovely feel to that. It's a,
It is. It's
a
pretty.
good question from the wonderful Movement 81, who were on last week, who are amazing. They are incredible artists as well as musicians. In fact, they're just art, really. They exude art in a similar way. So, Jeff, as someone else who's a trained painter, do you see video and live performance aesthetically as a series of paintings or as something different? How do you visualize
Well,
that stuff?
actually, I have quite a lot to say about live performance. I think the strobe light has been really overused to the point where I can't watch it. I'm going to talk about Lyme disease later for 1 minute, just because I've had it. You know, neurologically, the strobe lights are really something. But I have a strobe light story. I'm going to get quick. In 1967, Van Morrison was playing in Massachusetts. My friend had a 3,000 or 4,000 or 5,000 watt strobe light. He worked out of MIT or something. I was in high school. And he said, Van Morrison's playing. Go to sound check and see if he likes it. I said, well, okay, I don't know if he's going to like it. I thought he might. It's psychedelic and all. So we brought it down. We put it in front of him as he was doing sound check, and he said, well, flip it on. And he threw us out so fast. It went on. It was just blinded everyone in the room. Nobody had ever seen anything like it. It was pop, 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 pop.
Oh, gosh.
That's out of here. But strobe lights, you know, in the early days, a little smoke machine, a little strobe. But now, you know, you look at Coachella and Ultra Festival, and it's just the lighting is in the LED strobes. Exactly, rough on epilepsy people.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
not good for the brain, and you can't see the performer.
It really isn't, man. I
It's
tell
too
you, I
much.
suffer from migraines, photosensitive
yeah,
migraines.
the crawling ants on the.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
terrible.
And that used to be absolutely terrible when I was a kid because you just had to have a migraine. You could feel it coming on, and that was it. You just disappear for 2 days. But now there are some tablets as long as you take them quickly enough.
Yeah.
Because I get this visual disturbance.
Oh yeah,
And
no,
then
I have
take
it too.
the
It's
thing
horrible.
and
They're called ocular
yeah,
headaches too.
yeah,
It's
and I'm
like-
sure it's related to epilepsy and strokes and all that kind of stuff. And it's just that certain frequency. And I remember, what was it? I'll think of the TV show in a second.
Yeah, strobe lights and fireworks should be banned. I mean,
Stranger Things, which was an amazing TV show. I loved Stranger Things. The final episode of the first series, I just couldn't watch the last 10 minutes because
No,
it was
most
constant.
Movies,
It was
the
just
movies
constant.
are brutal. All the hot,
Yeah.
action movies are brutal.
Yeah. So
So
back,
simpler
to
times.
to what Movement 81 was saying. So are you visualizing a video and a live performance in your head almost as a storyboard, or are you?
Well, when my thing actually, my biggest success in video was Pat Metheny and his song called "Slip Away," which is on YouTube. It's a very pretty video. It was a big hit on VH1, 5-star video. I directed that along with a lot of others. But the thing about Pat and the videos I made was about the playing. It's about the fingers, about the soul, about the vibe, the singer, the percussion. It's all about the playing. I didn't like stories. I don't want any stories. I want to see if I want an Elvis clip, I want to see Elvis. If I want the Supremes, I want to see the Supremes. If I want somebody new, I want to see them. I don't want to see them trunching through the alleys, climbing upstairs, and flying through the air. So I like to bring it back to the people who are doing it and see the soul of them. I think the storyboard thing's overdone, just like the strobe lights. It's kind of lost it's become a parody of itself.
Yeah.
That's
interesting.
But
So
maybe just getting old too, because maybe the kids just like it. They want the strobes, they want the stories, and they seem to like the stories. I mean, I think a lot of the girls like the stories too. I'm not sure the guys like the stories.
It's
as much.
different. It's difficult, isn't it? Because things go in phases anyway. So a couple of generations, you'll get it all over again as well. But there's a lot of people who suffer. Immediately, a lot of things in the chat saying, actually, no, I don't like that.
I know nobody does
headaches
like
or
it, and
whatever.
it seems like the promoters don't care. The bands don't
Yeah.
seem to care. They get talked into the package. This is it. He's the best at it. Boom. And I get it. It's, it makes money.
Yeah, actually, that's true. Inky, the wonderful Inky the cat, who's responsible for all these streams kind of existing. To be fair, she is moderating here, so be nice to Inky.
That's right.
When she moved to Cornwall, driving under trees, 100%. And there's a I don't know if it's still there. There's a tunnel into Heathrow where they have strip lights when you drive through this tunnel, just at the right speed for it to go boom, 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 boom. Yeah. And that was like, I can't. You know, it's weird, isn't it? Just really strange how things affect you like that. But
okay, so I'm going to talk about Lyme disease just for 1 minute.
Please do.
I don't want to be Debbie
ahead.
Downer. You know, this is like Debbie Downer. You know, Jesus Christ, what a fucking asshole with the Lyme disease.
Boo. Okay, let's hear it.
Yeah. So basically, I got bit by a tick 4.5 years ago. I held him down under my pajamas. I thought it was a ladybug. I had no idea what a black-legged deer tick was. And some people relate to this in England, Ireland, and America, and Australia. So I held it down. It was a female adult. It stung me like I was hurt like a hornet. And I got my pajamas off. I pulled it off me. I looked at it, and I flushed it down the toilet. I looked at it very carefully. I'm like scientific. It was a black-legged deer tick. I went to the antibiotic people the next day. They said, "No, you don't have the rash. Wait a week. See how you do." That was the big mistake, because if you ever get bit by one, you demand doxycycline, because you have 24 to 48 hours to kind of nail it. I didn't nail it. So a week later, my life changed forever. I felt like I had the flu, but no temperature. I couldn't walk. I couldn't walk 20 feet out to the street. This went on for 1 year. I had MRIs. I went to 20 doctors. I tried all kinds of stuff. They will shut you off from the antibiotics after about 3 or 4 weeks. You know, you don't have the rash. The tests are inaccurate. You're not getting any more antibiotics. Not that they necessarily kick it, because they only help. Sometimes they kick it. Long story short, I got a Lyme doctor. Now I'm paying, $2-3 grand to see this guy.
Wow.
But he's giving me antibiotics, and I'm semi getting better. Then I get on all the herbal stuff, and then I get on the Facebook Lyme groups, which are worldwide. And then I find every book on Lyme. I read everything about it. Unfortunately, nobody knows how to treat it in any country in the world, and there's been no real budgets to fix it. And it's very big. So I find out there's 4 or 5 people on my street that have it. There are children that have it. And it could really take you down. So it took me down because I was older. I'm back 85%. I'm actually on antibiotics now because I know how to do them. And, when I'm feeling bad, I take a couple. So my tip is, number 1, stay home. 2, don't leave your room. 3, get really good Wi-Fi. 4, there's new variants coming too. Have a nice day.
God, that's
Yeah, that's quite a story. The Lyme story of my life. And, it happened late. I hate it. For young people, I feel so bad. There's no cure. There's only treatment. It's like tuberculosis or something. It's a bacteria, slowest growing bacteria in the world. Supposedly it's 80 days, some say 28 days to reproduce itself once. It can hide in all kinds of nooks and crannies in your body. It can get into everywhere. It's shaped like this syphilis bacteria. It's got a corkscrew.
Right.
It actually looks like a corkscrew. And it can kind of burrow into the biofilm. Anyways, I've had it for 4.5 years. I always want to just mention a little bit. I know Daryl Hall went through it. The woman up in Canada, Avril Lavigne.
Avril Lavigne, yeah.
Justin Bieber had it. And he was on IV antibiotics for a month. A lot of people have had it. Tommy Hilfiger's daughter had it bad, ended up in a mental institution. If you don't know you were bit by a tick, I was lucky. I
guess you
what
knew.
happened.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you don't know, and then this all happens to you, you think you're going crazy. So it's pretty tough. Now, what it did is that song, Beautiful, That's It, Baby, became out of me because of my experience.
Yeah, because of that, yeah.
I became a deeper person. I was a real pain in the ass before. And now Lyme has turned me into a bigger pain in the ass.
Wow.
Anyways, pretty tough. But I'm going to be an optimist. But the medical system, yikes.
God. I mean, I know I've heard horror stories before of people not really knowing what it was and finally getting diagnosed as like, oh, it's Lyme's disease. But I didn't realize it was.
Yeah. It's
having
Lyme.
discovered-
It's Lyme, not
Yeah,
Lyme.
yeah. I
Not
didn't-
Lyme's. No plural.
No.
Lyme.
Oh, Lyme disease. I'm sorry. But I didn't realize that once it had been discovered that's how it was. It wasn't as treatable as I expected. Do you know what I mean? I thought that was, great, it's Lyme disease.
Yeah.
Oh, now you'll be all right.
Right.
You know, take some antibiotics.
About
It's not-
10% don't ever really recover. And then there's a side story which I'm not going to go into, but there was, some government experimentation with ticks, World War II. The area I'm in is very saturated with Lyme disease, and there's some talk, and I'm not buying into it 100%, but it doesn't surprise me that military, bio, people, maybe they could have dumped ticks here. They dumped.
I see what you mean. Wow.
They might have gain functioned it up just a little bit to be a little more vicious.
Nasty stuff.
For the war, with the war people. The military.
Sure. Oh, Wagyu's posted something particularly. I've never been bitten by a tick, but I had to remove one from someone's neck once.
Yeah, they're nasty.
Need to get them by the jaw bits, or else they leave that behind.
Now, the other thing is there's dog ticks, which are kind of big and gray, and there's deer ticks, which are smaller, and they have like a little brown body with black legs. That's
legs,
about it.
Ticks with legs. I thought you meant it was the deer with the legs, just not the tick.
The poor deer are covered with them, and actually they're on mice too. I think mine came from mice in my house because they like to get on the mice, and I have a lot of mice under my house because I'm in the country. But anyways, that's Lyme disease. We're going to move on now. Woo-hoo!
Wow. Yeah.
Talk about Rod Stewart. All right.
Okay. Tell me about Rod Stewart.
Well, in 1968, I was in Montreal, and Ron and Ronnie were playing with the Faces. And I had my sketch pad with me because I was an artist. And I went by the venue at sound check, which is always a good time to check. And Ron and Ronnie were there. Ron and Ronnie. And they said, hey, you drawing? I said, yes, I am. And Ronnie took a little, liking to me in the sense that I was a, visual artist. And I stayed on the tour for a couple days, watching Rod Stewart and the Faces. Up close, personal, in the dressing room and side stage. So that was
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was pretty cool.
I mean, Ronnie's a great artist as well. I see, somehow I see Facebook posts, and
he's unbelievable. He's painting, he's touring, he's quite a guy. He really is. He's a sweet man too. Very
He's had so many ups and downs with sort of rehabs and stuff, but he's doing these. Yeah. They're on tour at the moment, I think.
Yeah.
And he's painting these big set lists.
Yeah.
So he paints the set list, and then he does almost these caricatures of the band around the set list, and then he sells them for quite expensive.
He's on Facebook. You can get him. Join him on
just
Facebook.
Brilliant. Yeah,
Ronnie Wood.
Absolutely.
Sweet
and it
people.
just that's such a neat idea. And they're actually, it's not naff. So that could be construed as a little bit naff in some respects, but they're really good painting. They would look great on the wall. They're fab. Absolutely fab. Condolences to Rocknets, who had one on his privates after walking in Snowdonia. I can imagine.
Been there, done that. I have actually. Two little babies. How you doing?
Oh dear.
How does my audio sound? Does it sound like crap?
Sounds great. No, it sounds great now.
That
sounds
good.
really, really good. It's all
Let me
good.
get my thing going.
That's a little quiet.
Okay, we'll get this going up a little bit. I have Mr. Wiggly here. It's number 147. Got here a couple of them.
Mr. Wiggly's 147. Oh, yeah, it's quiet, but it's there. It's definitely there.
It's funny how. Oh, let me go up here.
It's coming through the mic, I think, but that may be what. There you go. What is that?
The Casio. Oh, here's one. Show me the money.
Sadly, we don't get involved with that on this stream.
I take the fifth.
You got that on standby, just in case the questions get too much.
I just did this one today. Chaka Khan. Anyways, that's the Casio CZ1000V, CTS 1000V. It's actually a bargain. And I'll tell you the technology just briefly.
Is that the sampler?
It isn't. It's a weird thing. It's not a sampler. Those voices are generated through artificial intelligence.
I think it was the FZ1000 that was a sampler. I know I used to have one.
This is a different thing. This is like really nutty. And what it is you have an app on your phone or iPad. You don't even touch the synth. and you write down a sentence, and then you take a weird USB cable and another little adapter to make it work. It's a little tricky. Get it in there, and you transfer just the writing. You haven't said a word. You're just saying, hello, goodbye,
Amazing.
I love you. You type that in.
And he just does
This
it.
one, get off my lawn. Yeah.
Wow.
Get off my lawn. So, here's one.
Microphone, check 1, 2, 3. Microphone, check 1, 2, 3. Microphone, check 1, 2, 3.
Nice.
So
Amazing.
it's basically an artificial voice taking the phonetics of the words and putting through them some chip, and you have up to 150 slots.
That you just
and
fill
you
with
can put
text.
it in. So it's become my singer.
There's a module. There is a VST that you can buy by Plogue called I think it's called Chip Sounds, which works in a very, very similar way now, which is really good. And it's not all just chip sounds. They've kind of cloned all of the early sound chips from the Ataris and all of those things. It works quite well. Oh, Richard was just saying, does everyone understand taking the fifth? I think most people do. It's the right to not say anything that might incriminate you.
That's right.
So if you were in court giving evidence against someone and they said, well, where were you on Wednesday, and you happened to be breaking into someone's house on Wednesday, you could say, well, I take the fifth. And you
Actually,
wouldn't
the
have
new
to tell
one,
them
which
that.
is even more effective, and it seems to be very popular, is I don't recall.
Oh,
That works very well, it seems. And
I
any
suppose you
criminal,
can't prove
I
it.
don't recall. I just don't know if I was driving that night.
maybe.
You know?
Man.
It might have not been me. But that's the legal thing in America. It's getting very weird here. Hopefully we'll get better after what we've been through. I mean, you've been through some stuff too, but we've been through a lot of political stuff, COVID stuff, a lot of fracturing of the country. So
Yeah,
hopefully we get healed up.
yeah. I mean, obviously on the COVID side of things, it's been interesting time.
been a
So far
nightmare.
over here, we are now no masks, where there are no limitations. There's a lot of COVID, but it seems to be less deadly than it was with the
good.
new strains.
Good to hear.
Lots of people have been vaccinated. I think it's a good thing.
Good.
But yeah, the world is a strange place. As a father of a
Yeah.
10-year-old, I'm a little bit worried about the future. I'm not exactly the same way as I'm sure my parents were worried about the future, as I'm sure they were when the first person invented the bow and arrow. They probably thought everyone was going to die,
Right.
but it does seem to get more and more bizarre. I think there is some bizarre stuff going on now, which is just like watching a film.
Well, I think also the numbers, like that we can see Ukraine footage so easily, and it's 1,000 tanks have been destroyed, the Russian tanks, all these bodies, and it's people trapped in the steel mill. It's unbelievable. It's going to keep going. Iraq, Afghanistan, and now Ukraine, and we had Vietnam too. So, and you guys were helping the whole way, and it's good that you're there. But it just seems like to put out a fire, you have to put more fire on it. And I wish there was a
know
better
what you mean.
way.
I know what you mean. Well, let's keep it on music.
Yeah, let's do back to the music.
Yeah, we'll try and. Oh, I've got something that will do that very, very nicely. Hold on. Breathe
What was that?
and breathe. It was a back in the real world. It's
You
very,
know,
very
let's
lovely.
talk about chill music. Spa
Oh
music.
yes. Yeah, let's talk about that. I
So-
made I can do an intro on this. I made an iPhone iApp, an Apple app that works on the iPhone and the iPad, called Snuggle Sounds, which was the first thing I did, sort of jumping back into trying to mix music and tech together before I
Yeah.
made plugins. And this was again because of Lula May. This was when Lula May wasn't sleeping well. I looked on YouTube and I found 8 hours of
Right.
chill music to get people to sleep,
Right.
with 35 million views. And
Right.
you know, it was like, what? But the thing was, it was awful.
Yeah.
It was bells, everything to keep a child awake. You know,
Right.
it was like the content had not been thought about, but you just stick 8 hours on. A young mother comes along and goes, "Oh, 8 hours, that'll keep her quiet for the night. Stick that on." You know. So I thought, wouldn't it be great if I used some music skills to try and make something that really would work? You know, and I made this app, which has been okay. It doesn't have 35 million views on YouTube, but it does seem to work, and it sounds good.
I use
but
sleep
yeah, you
stuff
carry
at
on.
night. Yeah, rain. There's a couple channels on YouTube that just do heavy rain, black screen, heavy rain. A lot of millions of views, same kind of thing. Because once you get used to that sound when you sleep,
just goes
you
on
have to
every
have
time.
it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I also find in the car, we use super spa chill music when we drive, because if we don't, we'll beat people up.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's
Gotta
fair
chill.
enough. That's true, actually, because I set up a little internet radio station that just broadcasts 10 of these tunes that are on the iPhone app. And they go on for 2 hours, and it flips to the next one, and it's been doing that non-stop for about
great.
a year.
Yeah.
And actually, I think it gets around about 2,000 listeners.
The
from
other
no
good-
promotion. And
The other one
whatever.
the other one I've been doing recently is the bird feeders. Just go onto YouTube and just type in bird feeder, live streaming, and there's hundreds of them. Hummingbirds,
great idea.
crows, and I have a big, 65-inch TV,
Just stick that up.
and the big crow is sitting there in my living room. It's live. Occasionally a hawk comes in, a couple of cardinals.
What
and
a
it's really
brilliant
wonderful.
idea.
And the sound is fabulous. Again, it's
Wow.
just the birds. So that's YouTube streaming bird feeders.
So, in terms of ambience and chilled music, is that something that you've been involved with as a maker rather than a reviewer?
I haven't yet. I really like percussion, and I love drums. So it's always I got to get the drums in there somehow. And I don't think drums really work in chill music. I don't like having them in there. If I listen, I don't want to listen. They're very subtle. So at some point I will do it. As I said to my wife, it's just going to be one of these. I have a weight.
Talking of ambient music,
That's
Gethsemane music. Oh, sorry to carry
It's a
on.
weight for a keyboard, so I can just put it on a note and leave it there.
Oh,
right?
what a
Everyone has
great!
that.
I use sellotape. That's an even better
Yeah,
idea.
this is just a weight. And so if I do chill music, it's going to be easy.
Gethsemane music. You are right. $4.99. It is too quiet. Wake up, people. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So thank you. Thank you so much for the $4.99. It's very, very kind of you, sir. One another previous guest on this wonderful show. Someone mentioning the Depp Heard trial, which has been Comedy Gold. That's actually kept me going quite much.
I've been watching it.
It's
miserable but entertaining.
yeah, exactly.
Could it
Thank
be
you,
any
Gethsemane.
slower? I mean, really.
Oh, Thorsten's saying I do watch streams from Japanese places for that. That's interesting because Thorsten's wife is Japanese. Yeah, that sounds amazing. I mean, that's the kind of thing that YouTube is really made for. I think the
it's
live streaming
fantastic.
stuff is just astonishing.
And also, I mean, you can see a lot of concerts like Coachella and a lot of these things. A lot of the baby bands are broadcast for free, in the afternoon. You might not get the headliners, but you're getting all the new bands coming up, so that's fun too.
Yep.
My other big theory was that Facebook's going to charge $1.99 a month. That's
an interesting theory. They used to charge $1 for sending a gift in the very early days of Facebook. You could
I'm
send
sure
someone.
he's thinking about it because everything's subscription, which is not fun. But here we go, because I think once the social media guys say, "Geez, $1.99 a month times 1 billion." Oh, there you go, Richard. Nice.
Thank you, Richard. That's so kind of you. You
Richard
don't
does
have
a
to do
great
that.
job in Chic, by the way. Fabulous playing. I've seen him
Oh
many
man,
times.
it's
so,
and another wonderful long-term contributor to Sonic State as well, which is how I've known him.
great repertoire.
Yeah, it's been there
to be
for years and
involved
years.
in.
Fabulous. Thank you, Richard. Honestly, you don't have to, and it's very, very much appreciated. You must come back on soon, actually, because it's
And
time
Richard,
for
be
round
careful
two.
with the ticks in Connecticut, as you know. There you go.
I'm not going to think twice about
I
that
just
now.
think the
Thank you.
subscription thing's going to happen. I think, with Musk in there and Zuckerberg, I don't think there's any. Why wouldn't they? It's like.
Well, yeah, no. What I was going to say was when it first started, and obviously they started Facebook, and it was just for
It was for girl
universities and
pickup. No,
complexes.
it's for pickups of girls. at
Oh right, no,
Harvard.
but very originally when it launched, they locked it into schools, so they wouldn't let you and I join Facebook. And then when they opened it up slightly, they did have this thing where you could buy $1 worth of gifts, but they were virtual gifts, so you could send someone some
Right.
virtual flowers, for example.
Right.
And I did.
Yeah.
I bought a couple of
Right.
dollars and sent funny gifts. But that $1 charge financed them for about a year when they were building up, because everyone would go, "Oh, it's just $1," you know.
Right. Well, that's what's going to happen. It's going to happen 99 cents, $12, $10.99 a year. And then they want to get to your wallet, because the big thing is the wallet. Because then they take 1%, 2%, 1.5% for each of your things. Exactly. Zuckerberg was to find girls. He's such a jerk that this whole thing became to hit on women. It's just, and he stole the idea from the Zinkel boys, Kinkelfosses, and all those guys.
Absolutely.
But we're in it now, and we love it, and we're not leaving Facebook. You know.
Well, true. There's something going on, which is the thing called Mastodon, which is an open source version of Twitter, which we're in the middle of setting. You never know it'll take off or not, but we're in the middle of setting one of those up for synth-oriented people. So if you're geeky, check out Mastodon, and I'll give you some
just
more
what
info
I need.
next week.
Another password.
This is the trouble, isn't it? It's yet another thing to sign up to.
Oh my God.
It's
frightening.
Yeah,
It really
absolutely. I'm quite excited by the 3D stuff. I quite like immersive. It's still very basic as well, but I do like the immersive.
Have you put the goggles on? Have you put the Oculus?
Yeah, but only in
don't
a
you find it
PlayStation
nauseous?
sense.
What do you mean, like?
Funnily enough, no. I
didn't
really
get
expected to get sick, but no, I didn't.
I think they're going to have trouble with it though for this, sickness. I do. I think there'll be a lot of accidents.
Mastodon's a good band. Sorry, yes, it's also.
They are good bands.
More info next week about that one. And Lady Aptitude's going back to MySpace.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's really difficult. But so anyway, just coming back again a little bit, we bring it up to sort of more modern day. So in the last, obviously, you're still making great music.
I use Reason 11.
Okay.
Propeller head. I've been on them for 20 years. I got a crack version like in 1995 or whatever, and I've just been on it. So I know it really well. I will not do the subscription though. I will just want to not do it. I'm sticking with the stuff I own. Okay. I have a Roland 3880 loaded with everything in it, which is the old from the 92, the XV 3080, which is just a rack mount thing full of Roland sounds. Those 12-bit sounds that are like fabulous.
Yeah.
I've got the Casio, and I have my fun synth I bought is the JX8P from Japan, which is sitting over here. There's a little bit of it. And that was a risk. It had a little rust on it. It's it's one of the early ones, 1985, 84, and it's $550 free shipping.
That's the JX3P?
Yeah, no, JX8P.
8P, oh wow, lovely.
So I said, well, this is pretty good, And this guy, I emailed the guy, yeah, I think, you're going to pack it, right? Yeah, we'll pack it, So I bought it, and it came in, it works fine. I bought a DT800 controller, so I can have the full operation. And so that was the best kind of thing I've found on eBay. And sometimes buying, from a long way away it was a long wait. I bought 2 guitars directly from China, too.
Oh, nice.
They do say Les Paul custom on there. Is that a problem?
I have no idea.
No, they say Gibson and then Les Paul custom. They really do. These guitars, I bought 2 of them. They didn't show the headstock. And I bought one, and it was like, and it had a sticker over it too. It's like, Fuji guitar. And I was like, oh, that's a weird label. Wow. And I peeled it off, and it said Gibson, and it said Les Paul. And they're basically fakes. Really good
wow,
fakes.
Wow. Gosh.
So
Carl Bedford is saying that he's now looking at live bird feeders, so thank you for that.
Yeah, they're pretty good. They're very relaxing.
Steve's saying, what else is going on? He's fallen in love with Arturi's recreation of the emulator too. Oh, for Dusty Pads. Well, that's interesting. Talk about synth talk on this show. My word.
I got a Emu Systems Pro. The first one is it called?
Proteus 1.
Yeah, Proteus 1. I bought 2 of them on eBay. One worked, one didn't. Now I have parts.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah. I think I've got one of those somewhere. They were great in their time.
Yeah, they're fine.
Absolutely.
But everything
really
has
cool.
its time, and you can use any of these old things, just think them in there, here and there. But I do like Reason a lot, and I do like the digital thing a lot. And I'm very happy to be able to make, good sounding music at home.
I agree somewhat on the subscription thing. I think Reason's one is probably a good deal. And I can see why, I can see why it has to be for software developers to sign you up. Otherwise, they're forcing you to download new ones.
5 times. The problem is I already bought it for $350 and then
right.
$125. The
Fair enough.
And now you're up
Okay.
to $1,000.
Yeah. You should get a perpetual subscription
Something
or
like
whatever, something based on the fact you. But yeah, I totally agree. I feel that way with Ozone. Actually, I mean, it's a similar kind of thing. Whereas if I launch a new product and it's a reason, and it's my first in on it, then perhaps it's a reasonable thing to do, like Roland Cloud maybe. But yeah, it's it's really difficult, that whole thing. Really difficult to know the good pricing model.
So let me ask
for
you
that
about
kind
the
of stuff.
economy where you are. What town are you in?
We're south of London, near Gatwick, near one of the airports. So
Is the economy good or is it broken? I mean, you have are your shops open? Do you have a lot of for rent?
It's interesting. It's on the cusp, I would say. I mean, where we are, I suppose a big town near us is Crawley, which is not dissimilar from somewhere like Hammersmith in London, which is a very mixed kind of all human life is there.
Right.
And so it ranges from quite a high homeless problem through to quite a lot of affluent space.
Right.
There are a lot of closed shops. And there's a clear out going on, which so far hasn't really affected a wide scale of people. So clearly, the shops that weren't particularly doing well are gone.
Right. That's what's
but
happened
it's-
here, basically. Even in New York, I mean, there's so much for rent. Prices have gone really high. And I'm in the country, and the same little towns are suffering. All the little restaurants got crushed from the pandemic.
That's
basically.
absolutely what's
And
happening.
that kind of crushed all the little rock clubs and all those people, too.
Yeah.
So we're still trying to recover. But it's been slow in the Northeast as far as the recovery in Northeast America.
It feels like it hasn't been as bad as I thought it would be, but I'm not directly involved. If I was running a club, I think it would have been a disaster.
On the other side, I think the bigger guys, again, 1,000, 2,000 people, they seem to be doing okay. I mean, I think when the money's, $50 a ticket to see a band, I guess you can do okay. With 1,000 people, you're $50,000 at the door. So
Thorsten saying Tobias Ealing's lost a lot. Yeah, I went to Chiswick. We used to live in Chiswick before we moved down here, which is quite an affluent area. When I've moved to Chiswick, which is a West London suburb, if you like, it was one of the cheapest places to live. It was very run down, and then kind of over the 15, 20 years since we were there, it shot up. They had a lot of investment, and Ealing is one step outside of Chiswick. So what seems to have happened in London is it just gets a little bit bigger and it moves out and it moves out and moves out.
It looks
and
like
Ealing's,
tall concrete. It's huge. Yeah.
And
being
Ealing
eaten
is
up.
a very similar. So Thorsten's in Ealing. He's saying that they've lost a lot of shops. So it's going to take a while.
Too many people.
David
going
Socek
on?
saying the US economy is juiced with stimulus, but that doesn't help musicians.
No.
Interesting with the stimulus checks, people do tend to go out and buy music kit, or they don't use it for life. They use it to buy treats, from what I can see on Facebook posts.
I think a lot of people just use it to buy food.
I would hope so.
Yeah, I think so.
I really would hope so.
I think what happened also is a lot of people painted. Everyone in America has started a painting career because of the COVID.
Wow.
Literally, I mean, everyone seems to be painting, which is a great thing, but overwhelming how something like that will change.
Wow.
How we look at things.
I mean, we're close to Gatwick Airport here. There's two major airports in the UK. This is one of them, and they shut. And we had the strangest kind of thing where all of the pilots obviously they hadn't have a job. The support staff, like the whole area was devastated.
The whole thing's abandoned now?
Well, no, they just started flying out again. Now they've dropped everything.
Oh, because of COVID, they shut.
They shut it down completely, and
Wicked.
so loads of houses went up for sale. We had a pilot dropping Sainsbury's deliveries off to us, our grocery deliveries. I mean, there were just a dash for jobs, so it was devastating for that. But it seems like it's picked up again.
Good. Well, that's good news. I mean, I look at Miami and Florida and stuff. That always looks really happy. Everyone's outside, drinking a pina colada and having fun. So some of in LA seems to be coming back, because you can go outdoors and all. But the homelessness in America is pretty brutal. Kensington and Philly, LA, Skid Row is beyond belief. You can see it on YouTube. Worth paying attention to, though, because the politicians don't talk about that at all. They just ignore it because they have no sponsorship.
Yeah, I volunteered. I haven't for a while actually with COVID because they shut down, but I volunteered at a local Crawley homeless one of the big places, and it's just astonishing.
It's brutal.
What was really amazing, because we're lucky. Okay, we've got a house. It's older. We're secure. And I give thanks for that every day. But we are lucky. What was astonishing working homeless was the speed at which some people their world had fallen apart, literally. So you know, some guy would come home, normal job, normal life, and they would split up with his wife or something would go wrong. She might have an affair, he might have a whatever. The relationship would crack over the weekend, and within a week he'd be living on the streets, and it would just be, you know, utterly brutal. So we'll see what had happened with some people. You know, it's
well, that's tough. Fortunately, we still have Behringer to make 2.99 cents, so we'll be fine.
Well,
I bought a lot of them, and I sold a lot of them.
I'd still my 2,600 words. Anyway, let's just touch back briefly. I don't know if Luna May's going to make it back in time, but touch back briefly on the future. Where what is next for your world, the world of Jeff Hudson and your wonderful wife?
I think I'm going to just crank out albums. There's not a lot of partying out here. Get up at 6. I have a dog. Go to bed early. I'm really enjoying, you know, doing the music and doing YouTube. So I'm just going to crank records. And I think right now you can just load them up, you know, and they're out. I think I have 5 albums out.
Brilliant.
I have another album called Super Frosty that's worth listening to. There are 12 songs all on marijuana.
Oh, wow.
It's called Super Frosty. It's a funny record. It's all auto-tune.
Okay, cool.
So it's very marijuana. Super Frosty. It's out all over the place. And my wife and I have this, The Middle, which is Jeff and Jane Hudson, which is the last Jeff and Jane Hudson album.
Okie doke.
That's some good stuff. But I've got a number of things just going every day. I just seem to crank out a song or two a week, you know.
Well, that's fabulous. I mean, more power to you, sir. It's just a great thing to be.
Well, you know, time is short.
Isn't it? It's just flying by.
I mean, you have to be cool about it, but your anxiety level goes up and up as you look as men die at what age?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. And we lose our faculties as well a lot earlier than that often.
I haven't lost them yet, fortunately. That's one thing I'm keeping.
And your lovely wife is painting, I think you said.
She is.
So
she's doing.
Jane is. I saw someone wander past in the background in a white coat. So.
The circle painting right above me is one of hers.
Oh, lovely.
And she's a very wonderful person. Been together for 40 years.
Oh, fantastic.
Fortunately, no kids.
Oh, kids are good too. Well, at least you can pursue
after 18,
your.
I'm sure they're fine. I feel like WC feels with kids. Yeah.
Totally.
I have a Pomeranian though, so that's plenty. Let me tell you.
Oh, 10 Mil's making jokes about monkeys. Sorry, I was slightly distracted with the monkey fail. It's because of the aptitude or something. Crazy stuff. But any questions in the chat? Much received. I will check in a second where Luna May is, but it's looking like she may not arrive back in time to even say hello. I'm sure she's probably half asleep anyway.
All right.
But we will find out.
I'm pretty willing to wrap up if that's okay with you.
Yeah, no worries at all. That's absolutely
fine. I really
fine.
Appreciate you playing the song, though. It's a really nice gesture.
No, it's great. I mean, I loved it. That's when you sent it to me on Facebook. I was thinking, this is really good.
Nice.
Just one question from Homegrown before you disappear.
Yeah.
Does Jeff have a favourite era of synth development?
I like the Pro 1 sequencer and the white noise in the Pro 1. I think that was a strong little machine. I sold mine, unfortunately. I'm impressed with the Casio for a new machine. That's not vintage, though. I mean, vintage, Juno 60, Pro 1.
So it was those early 80s
GR808,
years, 83, 84, I think, wasn't it? Right?
That's where they break through. And but now you get more, though. You get the sax sounds, you get the trumpets, you get the full pianos, you get the strings, so you can put them in and have references. I love vibraphones, too, any kind of
yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Get a little more jazz into the music. And the other thing is, I think the electronic musicians could just put a little more content into it, either through language, titles, attitude, video. So it's just not a throbbing rhythm, which is great, and it's fun to dance. But we'd like to see a little more content about living and humanity and poetry of some sort. Okay. And that's why I like the vocal synthesis, because that's my new lead singer, and I tell him what to sing. It's beautiful.
Wow. So you can bang the beat into the drum machine.
Yes, I can.
Oh, thank you so much. Been absolutely
you.
brilliant.
All right.
Let me just think. Next week there probably won't be a Wiggly show. Because it's one of my best friends' birthdays, and it's a chance to catch up with a whole load of people that I've known since the year. Once a year we all get together, so that should be pretty good.
Thank you so much for all the people who said stuff over here. That's really cool to see the human beings typing, you know?
Yeah. No, there's a lot of love in the
Beautiful.
chat. It's nice to chat about a few other things outside of music as well, a little bit, which is kind of cool. So next week will be Kent Spong. Will be doing a Sunday show this time, and so you're very welcome to go and join him at the Kent Spong pub. And have a nice time over there. So he's kindly said he's going to start at 7 o'clock to take over. So there will be something to watch. Good. Jamie's show will also be back next week. So that would be cool. That'll start at 6. So you can do Jamie's. He might go and run a little bit longer. Jump over and see Kent's. Obviously, Pro Synth Network on Friday. Check it out. Ramsey on Saturday as well. It's all there. And the amazing Clownfest style Unsigned Review Live is on Tuesdays with Mark Gardner. So please, I know he's watching in the chat as well and has been around. So please do check that out. So the week after that, likely to have Oliver Golds in the chat, who was Mark Gardner's kind of partner in crime when they set up Clownfest. He's a very interesting, slightly mad kind of character, but some of that I think is just a little bit of a show. So we want to see what he's up to. Very creative, full of energy, a little bit of sprinkle of madness on the top, and a lot of knowledge and push to release music. So it's going to be really cool, I think. I'm sure that Mark will probably pop in as well.
I gotta go. Johnny Depp's on the phone.
Okay, mate,
Johnny,
take care.
What's up? See you tomorrow, okay? That'll be good. I love you,
No
baby.
worries. Thank you very much for joining, man. Take care. All right, we'll see you soon. Don't forget to smash that like button if you wouldn't mind, and do subscribe if you haven't already and you fancy getting a note that says go and watch this every Sunday. So like I say, I will promote Kent's Sunday stream. Hit the like, and that's kind of it from us, which is kind of cool because I need to hit the loo as well at some stage. So thanks very, very much for everyone in the chat. To everyone who's donated, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Absolutely amazing. We will be well above £3,600. I mean, if we can get maybe £4,000 for Great Ormond Street by the time of the 50th show. I think Nick Batt's coming on for the 50th show. We're only 4 shows away. Obviously, we've got Synth Fest coming up as well, so there should be some footage coming from there. Hopefully, I'm going to head over there. Might do a bit of stuff for Sonic State, see how that's going. So yeah, big love and thanks to absolutely everybody. And we'll see you the week after next. But something will be happening here. If only a little note to say, go and pop over to this link for next week. So we will not be deserting you, and I will see you from Synthfest in the meantime. All right, take care everybody. Thanks ever so much from the bottom of my heart, and love to you from all of us, from me and Luna May and Mrs. Wiggly. Take care.
Connect so with the herb pipe, link up the harmonized, bless the termite. But beyond obsolete blessings, a birthright. We live a life which a lot for me, no salt worldwide. Cosmic love energy, I go herbicide free, organically, me say worthwhile. Watch the way one of you change term points in terms of definitions and some termites. Yes, I check the eye. One side is defined by one side the other. I.e. I am an ideas man. I assign too much of the qualities of my child. Who's way up talking like this to me? One is a construct, one is a creativity. The supreme one, all encompassing information in and of itself, most definitely. Another life infinitely, most life infinitely. Beyond the scripture, niceness can be. Blessed be. I continually must pick up a being that's the infinity.